Cougar fans, welcome to another edition of the Cougar Connection. Today we're out at the Country Club. We're at Sunset Hills Country Club at the brand new Harry Gallatin Practice Facility, and it's my pleasure to be joined by our 12th year head men's golf coach, Derek Brown. And Coach, first of all, we've got a great day here for it being October.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good sunny day right in our eyes, Joe, but we'll get through it just fine. But yeah, it's a good October day. We're thankful to be able to be out here in front of this new facility and hopefully get to show everybody inside here in a little while.
We will. We're going to take a good look at the facility. That's something that's been in the planning and in the works for some time now. I want to talk about this season because obviously it's unlike anything that you've been through, that I've been through, that any of our student athletes have been through. You were in the midst of your what we'll call championship season, that spring part of your season last year when everything got shut down. We get through that. We get into the fall at one point thinking maybe we're going to be sort of normal. I have to imagine, though, that there was some inclinations that maybe there would be a postponement again this fall.
Yeah, I think it went in cycles. You know, when we first were canceled for the rest of the spring, I think everyone just immediately turned their eyes to, summer tournaments for these guys. But I think no one really thought at that point there would be any postponement or a cancellation of the fall season. So everybody had that, August 20th date, locked in their calendar as we talked throughout the summer. And then slowly as we would get through the summer, I'd be lying if there wasn't some doubt,
right,
throughout the whole throughout the summer months. But I don't think really until, but a couple weeks before school started, I really thought that it was a true potential that we weren't going to be able to play this fall.
And then when that happens and you get the news and you get the word, how do you pivot there? Because on a normal season and a regular season, if folks don't know, you'll play 4 or 5 tournaments in the fall. You'll play another 4 or 5 regular tournaments in the spring. That's also where the Ohio Valley Conference Championship would be. So instead of prepping for your regular 4 or 5 tournaments and practice every day, you've got to kind of pivot. How does that work? How do you change?
Well, honestly, I think every single coach out there is trying to figure out that question with golf. We are a little bit different than some of the other sports because our fall and spring both count the same towards, rankings and individual rankings for all conference and things. It's not just a championship, non-championship season. For us, it all matters. So obviously we had to go through it in the spring, so my guys had been through it once. I don't say that helped the situation, but since they had been through it before, they kind of understood where we were going from there and what we were going to have to do. But this fall season was, I was talking to a lot of different coaches about how they were going to handle everything. One, in regards to not being able to travel and for something to look forward to as you're going through the fall, but then also trying to be as safe as possible and keeping people healthy so we can have everybody at practice and be able to develop team culture with the new guys that have joined us this year and different things. So I would say the first month, that was a big part of it, was how can we still develop our team culture, still be doing the things that we would normally do. It's just minus the qualifiers and the travel. And so we did that, and now we'll get into some qualifiers and start playing for stuff in the spring so we can start getting some leaderboards and some pressure and some different things. And, as long as we stay healthy, and you mentioned the weather earlier, the forecast here for the next couple weeks in October actually look really great too. So hopefully we can get that until, the Thanksgiving time, that we can, use, our practice facilities to be able to get better. And, it's really our only choice is to try to just get better.
A lot of people have taken up golf during this time because it is an activity where you can easily distance yourself, and it's outside. You're not worried about being confined in a space. That is a little bit advantageous when it comes to you and your program.
It's done great things for golf in general. Just people taking up the game, or even people who've not played as much are now playing much more, which is great for the golf courses, which in turn is great for us.
Yep.
They have, been able to do better as, a golf course in Gateway or the country club with new members, and then they're able to put more money into the courses, which obviously helps us.
Yeah.
The nicer the golf course and the better conditions is wonderful for our team, not just for practice every day, but for recruiting and different things like that. It's nice to see busy golf courses. And then, of course, just a fan of golf, I'm glad that more people are getting out there and playing.
Give me a quick rundown of what this roster looks like this year. Obviously, almost everybody back from last year. You've also added a couple of newcomers. What do you like about this roster?
Well, this is the biggest roster I've
Yep.
had at SIUE, and part of it is because of obviously the COVID seniors able to get a year back from the spring. So we did lose one in Albert Nielsen, who graduated and moved back home to Sweden. Our other senior, Parker Mckietren, is back and just a really solid leader for us. Happy that he was, wanting and able to come back and just provide quite a bit of experience. Just played 2 years of junior college at Iowa Western, and then now a year and a half, almost 2 years with us. He gets it, and it's nice to have that. We have another senior transfer from Winthrop. Zachariah Butt is in from Winthrop. Was looking to go to grad school and had actually chosen SIUE before all the COVID stuff came down, and he's a really great player from Winthrop. Was borderline all-conference in the Big South, and he was also the Scholar Athlete of the Year in the Big South for men's golf, so he's obviously a good student as well. With the rest of the roster, obviously everybody gains a year, because everyone's kind of a red shirt from what they were in the past. So we are still, on the younger side, which what we need as a team is tournament play, and right now we can't get that. So I'm excited for the spring to get all of these guys who are redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores on the course, because that's truly where we're going to get better.
With a bigger roster, and you made mention a little bit earlier about some pressure and getting guys, competing with one another. With a bigger roster, can you do that a little bit more?
Oh, I think the qualifiers are going to be tougher than they ever have been. And, not saying it's the most talent we've ever had or anything like that, but it's just the fact of now you're looking to go to a tournament, you got to beat 6 guys instead of, just 3 or 4 to make the squad. And today is actually our first qualifier of the year. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm excited just to see scores on the scorecard, those first nerves that come with teeing it up on the first hole. And it's one of many, so some of us will, put out some good rounds today and some won't, but I'm looking forward to how they'll bounce back and hopefully that team culture thing that I talked about earlier, where we're still holding people up but still competing with each other at a high level.
We're going to get a good look at a couple of players right now, and as we're going to go on the course, we're going to take a look at how a hole is played, and we'll get a little commentary as well. That's what's coming up here as we go on the course.
Well, folks, we've made it here to the beautiful 16th hole at Sunset Hills Country Club. We've had a great match today between Brooks Jungbluth from St. Joseph, Missouri, and Presley Malkerberg from Reno, Nevada. We've gotten here to the final hole, hole 16. It's a par 4 playing 340. Got a little left to right wind, but looking to make a birdie here to end the day. Presley has the honor. Play away, please. Presley's been playing pretty well today. Contact was good. Just left of the bunker, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Looks like it's found the fairway. Brooks has been playing really well today.
Cougar's logo on it. Heck, the 4. Sounds good.
Luckily, it's not too windy. He doesn't have much distance, so into the wind really hurts him, but we'll get a good look here.
That's just a great ball, too.
Looked really good off the face. Little cut at the bunker, but it looks like it'll be okay right into the fairway.
Perfect.
So what's it been like playing against your former roommate in this intense match today out here at Sunset?
Yeah, it's just like good old times. Been here for a few years, had some good matches. A little bit of trash talk here and there, but for the most part, it's been a good day.
How are those new clubs working? I heard you had to take out a second mortgage to get those new clubs.
Yeah, you know what? It was a little bit of a tough decision, but I think they're paying off. So, I got them from Japan.
What makes you carry your bag on one shoulder? Does your left shoulder get tired, or what?
I think it's just a cooler way of walking.
It's a cooler way.
Yeah. Just takes a little bit of pressure off.
What would you say your favorite hole is out here at Sunset?
I would have to say I think it's the 16th hole. Just something special about it. Gives me good vibes. So.
On to you, Brooks. What's it been like playing against Presley today? The wind's not been up today, which is nice for you.
Right.
With your driver and you're a good iron player. What's been the key today for you?
Just my penetrating ball flight. Especially when the wind has picked up a little bit. It's been nice to, see the ball just kind of pierce through that wind without it affecting it much.
The match is all set here at Sunset Hills as we come to the final stretch here. We got 2 shots in the fairway. Brooks is 70 yards out. He's 79 yards out. He's playing away. Looks like a decent strike, a little right.
Good layup.
Looks like it was a nice layup just short of the green. That puts Presley in perfect position to make a run here. Will Presley, the Reno, Nevada native, be able to clutch up here? Presley's been hitting his wedges good all day. Let's see if he can hit one more wedge to close out the match here. Looks like a pretty good strike right at the flag. Good shot there by Presley to about 3 feet for birdie. We're now up to the last green here. Brooks came up just short with his second. He's gonna have to chip this in or get it close to have a chance to tie the match. Looks like he's sitting down a little bit, but he should be able to get pretty good contact on it. What a great chip. The flag could be pulled. That does have a chance of going in, but unfortunately it did not drop. Brooks just did a great chip that lipped out. Now we have Presley Mackelberg here with a putt to win the match. It's a little right to lefter. He likes the right to left putts. Here we go. Will he make it? And he pulls it straight left. Not the putt he's looking for. I think he got a little nervous. I think the nerves got to him. He's never been mic'd up in a tournament. It's just a little different atmosphere here. Now Brooks has a chance to concede or tie the match here, and maybe have to go to a playoff.
I want to give this putt to him. It's a slider. Oh my God, he missed it.
Brooks just missed his par putt to lose the match to Presley. That concludes the 2020 Sunset Hills Country Club match here on this beautiful October day, and we look forward to getting back out here. Thank you.
Back inside, Joe Pott, and I've got a couple of special guests with me here. I am joined by Parker Mckietren, who is a redshirt senior out of Keller, Texas, and Brooks Youngbluth, who is a redshirt sophomore. He's from St. Joseph, Missouri. And guys, thanks for the time. And I know that this is a completely different type of season, type of fall. Parker, I'll start with you. After you lose the spring and we get through the summer, I'm sure there was some anticipation of getting back on the course for what we all thought was going to be a regular fall.
Yeah, well, with me graduating, I actually wasn't sure if I was even going to come back until we got the notification from Coach letting us know that we all got our extended redshirt year, which got me excited. Then once I decided on my own that I was going to come back and continue to play, I was anticipating the year. Everything was looking up coming into the season, and then we kind of got here and it all took a tumble, but I'm glad to be here now.
How did that change for you as far as academics? How did you have to adjust and shift, thinking, hey, I'm headed for graduation, now I'm going to pivot to another year?
Well, I got my bachelor's in marketing, so I was just kind of looking to add on to my resume, and I was kind of trying to think long term what would be good for like my life plan, and I was thinking finance. That can't really go wrong with that. So I turned in. I'm getting my minor in finance now, and I think I've made the right decision so far.
Brooks, for you, I imagine, and as I've talked to other student athletes and other coaches, there had to be a little bit of idea as we got into the late summer and into the fall that there might be a postponement. Is that how you guys were kind of feeling?
Yeah, for sure. You just heard all the news around everything surrounding all the other conferences. We weren't the first one to cancel, but as soon as you saw that first conference cancel in late July, you just kind of had that feeling. But props to Coach this whole summer. He kept us motivated. He kept us, pushing ourselves. That's all we need to do at this point. That's all we can do. And but as the summer got on, we all kind of got that feeling. And then as soon as it came, it wasn't a huge surprise. At least we were ready for it.
Parker, one of the things that Coach Brown told us was this is the biggest roster that he's had at SIUE. What does a big roster do for you as an individual player with regards to qualifying and just overall competition?
Well, I think in general it just makes the whole team more competitive. I mean, it's a lot harder to make the team when there's 11 guys versus 8, just like it's harder to compete in a field when there's 150 versus 100. So it's kind of just the same aspect. More guys is obviously going to be harder. It doesn't matter if it's better talent, but I think this team's goal is just to beat out every guy on the team. And if we do that and we keep just trying to beat each other, then we're going to actually make each other better in the long run.
Same for you, Brooks. How does that affect, the way you approach a qualifier on a weekly basis when you're trying to get into that field?
Yeah, more guys the better, honestly, from a competitive standpoint. That it just gives another person a chance, to go out, shoot a score, and beat as many guys as possible. And that's one of the most important things for confidence on the golf course, is beating as many people as you can. So when you have a good qualifier and you come out on top, it's showing that you're playing, some really good golf, beating, a deep team like we have.
Parker, we're standing inside this tremendous practice facility that, for anybody who has followed this program or has been around for a while, it's been talked about, it's been rumored, we've had these conversations, and obviously all of this takes great collaboration, obviously great fundraising as well. But how nice has it been to kind of get in here and finally get to start using this new facility?
Oh, it's great. We haven't used it that much since we've been back, just because the weather's been so great. But when the facility first did open up at the beginning of this year, back in January, February, when we got back from break, it was awesome to have. We had no downtime. We were, just school and golf was still our main focus. We weren't really sitting around the house watching TV shows. We were able to have our off time in here around the team, and honestly, it brought the team closer. I think just being around each other, the team camaraderie, a little more competition, and just kept us in it as a whole. There was really no downtime, and we were always working towards a goal.
You are somewhat local, Brooks, not too far away. What did you know about SIUE, about Southern Illinois, this area, anything, when you were making your decision?
Honestly, I knew that as soon as I came to visit here, I knew it was, a great school, great coach, obviously, and a great culture from, a golf standpoint with the golf team. And I knew that there was, SIUE golf was moving up in the ranks too, which is exciting. Definitely getting, a little bit more recognition for what we're doing here. And, this facility speaks measures about what we've done.
All right, let's do something a little bit more fun. Well, I'll just ask you some random questions here. Parker, I'll start with you. You can draw from your time here, your time in JUCO, whatever it is, but favorite course you've played?
Favorite course would probably be Texarkana Country Club. Actually, I played it back in high school. They used to call it Little Augusta when Ben Crenshaw and Ben Hogan used to drive through Texarkana to get to Augusta back in the day when no one really flew. So that would probably be my favorite course. Okay,
so Brooks, similar question, but favorite hole that you have played and like where it is? And
favorite hole I've played would have to be the 18th hole at the Kapalua Plantation course. So I'm not a big hitter by any means, but you can hit some bombs off that tee because it's really downhill, downwind
Nice.
all the time. So I hit like a 400-plus yard drive. I felt a lot bigger than I was at the time. So, yeah, for sure that one.
as you guys travel, and again, it can be junior college, what's a favorite meal stop? Parker, first for you.
I don't know, but Coach treats us a lot better than our JUCO was. It was McDonald's. So really, I'm just grateful for whatever we get. I'm trying to think. We eat at a lot of restaurants, which is surprising. You'd think we'd just stop in and grab something and get back to the hotel, but I don't know. Any restaurant really is decent.
How about you, Brooks? Any favorite stop? Any favorite meal that you've had? Pre-tournament, post-tournament, whatever?
I'd say we've been to Five Guys before. I love Five Guys. It's probably my favorite.
It's a good burger.
My burger stop.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Parker, what are you looking most forward to when we get to the spring and you get back to tournament play?
Oh, just like you said, tournament play, getting out, competing against other people other than our own team, seeing how you compare to the field, what your work that you put in actually has proven. Have you gotten better? Have you gotten worse? Because a lot of times you can only gauge so much off the team that you're playing against every week in and week out. But when you get out to a big field, it'll expose you, or you'll shine in the light.
Brooks, what's the craziest thing that when you're in a group out there, what's the craziest thing that someone has said to you or you've overheard? And you don't have to give away, maybe a name, but
Like on the team or?
not our team, but like when you're in tournament play, like when you're.
Craziest thing I've heard. It's a good question. Someone said something the other day. Probably some, like with green speeds, like I was playing in a tournament last week, for example, and they were rolling quick, but this guy said they were rolling at least 13 to 14, which it's not, that's like Augusta speed. And they were probably around an 11, 10 and a half, but he was just way off from that standpoint. It just kind of, made me shake my head a little bit.
Trying to sound smarter than he was.
Yeah.
Just the exaggeration.
Yeah, the exaggeration, exactly.
Guys, I really appreciate the time. Like everybody else, we look forward to that spring when you guys are back out there competing in tournaments, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks,
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Parker Mckietren and Brooks Youngbluth with us here, and we appreciate the time, and we're going to take a closer look. We'll give you a look inside the Harry Gallatin Golf Training Facility, myself and Coach Brown.
SIUE is rising. Why? There's a feeling here that's hard to describe. It's in the students, in our campus, our town. Potential. It's a place where big opportunities come from small class sizes, with cutting-edge labs, studios, and performance spaces. We go out and experience it. Create, break it. Try again. We strive to become more. We will shape the world to come.
Cougar fans, there's no better place to check out the latest news, stats, and updates about Cougar athletics than at SIUECougars.com. Find out when the next game is, learn more about your favorite Cougar teams, read in-depth features, and get exclusive content. SIUECougars.com is also your one-stop for tickets and official SIUE Cougars gear. Get it all without leaving your home. Just visit SIUECougars.com. We're inside the Harry Gallatin Golf Training Facility here at Sunset Hills Country Club. It's a joint effort between the Country Club and SIUE Athletics. I'm rejoined now by the Cougars head golf coach, Derek Brown. And Derek, I know this is something, as long as you've been here probably, that has been talked about. It takes a lot of collaboration. It takes a lot of capital to have a facility like this. But now that it's a reality, it has to be pretty satisfying for you.
Yeah, it was a it was a process, just like any facility that is needing the capital that you're talking about. In the collaboration between SIUE, the foundation, and the country club, it all came together in about the last 2 to 3 years, and then it takes some planning. So there was a lot of time and effort that went into it from people who don't get the recognition that they probably should have from behind the scenes. But now that we have it, it's all worth it now. It's great.
And we're going to give folks an idea of what we're looking at personally, or right now, I should say. We're standing in the hitting bays. And as the folks can see, there's the netting behind us. So, when you wake up in the morning and there's some frost on the ground, it's a little chilly, guys can come in here and hit without even having those doors open. They can hit right into this net. Yeah,
that was one of the main things that we wanted, was a place for the guys to not only putt, to be able to hit inside when it's either too cold or maybe there's snow on the ground or maybe there's frost and they're not able to get to the range itself. And being so close to campus, they can be here in 2-3 minutes, as we really share a property line with the country club. So, the first thing we wanted was enough space where we could have people putting, and you can kind of see around here we have 8 putting holes. But we have enough space that we can have 3 people hitting and other guys putting at the same time, which makes it nicer for practice and, having the guys all get together in regards to, again, team culture. We have an indoor facility. You don't want to go half and half with different things like we used to in the past when we were hitting inside like batting cages. So essentially, we put up these nets here, and we actually had to put in a second net because one of my guys was too strong and hit it through the first net. So we've got 2 really strong nets, here protecting the garage doors, and it gives them the sensation during the wintertime of hitting a real golf ball. We didn't want anything where you're hitting wiffle balls or even softballs. You want that contact to be able to practice and feel it throughout the winter months, which, in our area is pretty important for December and January, and even getting into February for sure. But what people don't think of sometimes is the September day where it's 90 degrees outside, but it's a thunderstorm. Well, now we don't have to take off those days of practice, where in the past we really didn't have an option, and it turned into an off day. And just like any coach would tell you, one day off is one day that you're falling behind somebody else. So now we have an option to be able to come practice our putting. We can chip in here with some fringe AstroTurf, and then these garage doors, all 3 of them do come up. And so the same thing, we can get 3 people hitting outside to the range itself. And then obviously right out in front we have another turfed area and then an actual zoysia tee box in front of it. So the whole thing came together really nice.
When you talk about the 8 holes you have here as far as putting, are there some differences? Do the holes offer some different challenges based on, where they are and how they're laid out?
Yeah, we didn't want to go with a lot of slope in the green, but there is slight variations depending on each hole that you go to. We have a right to left putt, we have a left to right, right to left. We have slight uphill, slight downhill, but for the most part, what we really truly wanted was, separation of the holes where we could get a bunch of guys practicing on 6-footers, 7-footers, for just a continual practice, and we just wanted them to work on their stroke, and we got enough undulation in this practice green that we can work on everything.
And as we continue through the facility here, and we'll talk about the room that is off to our left here as we're looking at us, and right now, as folks will see, this is an empty room. You've got a nice window here from this side looking into what is now an empty room. What are the plans for that room?
So that's our simulator room. It was built specifically for that purpose. We are in the middle of a fundraising campaign for it to finish off that room to make it look really special. The window between the room that we're in right now and there even offers more from a coaching standpoint, that no matter what room I'm in, you can really watch each other, and even teammates can watch each other practicing on the simulator. I feel the simulator is really important because it kind of gives you that fun aspect of golf, and hitting into this net can be great practice, but at some point it's nice to see a video screen and put up a score and play Pebble Beach and different things. So once we have that whole room will basically be a simulator area with some seating on the outside of it, and it'll be again a collaboration between us and the country club, that the members will be able to use that during the off times as well, and I think that'll be great for their membership, and I think they'll think it's fun too. So I really think it'll get some use, but not only for us to get better in practice and be able to see a ball flight with the computer equipment that comes with it, but also to have some fun.
For folks that maybe haven't had a chance to play at one of the spots that offer you that opportunity to hit with the simulator, give me an idea. Obviously, you mentioned fun, and I know you can make different courses on there and kind of play some of those legendary holes. But what about from a training aspect? What kind of things are you going to be able to take from a swing there, or are you going to be able to discern? What does it tell you?
It'll tell you as much as you want to buy, and so the one that we really are looking at, the one we want, the guys are going to be able to get anything they want from the numbers that it shows, whether it's ball speed, spin rate. It will video their swing, not that we don't do that already with some of the stuff, but the better equipment will give us even more of a swing path, and I think it'll overall help the guys learn it quicker than maybe we've been recording with our phones or doing different things, kind of like that, whereas now we can get immediate feedback after each swing, or even after an entire session. We can take that data that's been given us to by the computer from one range session and be able to gain faster knowledge of what we need to work on.
One of the things that you've talked about several times is culture, unity, togetherness, all of this stuff that you want from a team. And one of the things this facility provides is you've got plaques over here with all the guys on it, some fun facts about each of the guys, the members of the team. The other thing you've got over here is a record wall, and it lists some of the historical things that go into what makes this a program. And there is a lot of rich history here, and that's kind of a cool addition, I think.
That was one of my main, obviously there's a lot of touches that you want to add to the facility as we, continue to, grow it and add to it and make it special and make it ours. But one of the things that I thought was really important was the record board. One, for the guys that are on those plaques that you talked about earlier, to look back at the history of what had happened, and not just since our Division I time, but our Division II time, where, Coach Gallatin had immense success, for many years that he was the coach here in the 70s and the 80s. For sure, they were at the national championship almost every single year. So I thought it was special for one of those plaques to just specifically list every D2 All-American, what year they were there, what team they were on, because we have a lot of them. And I don't want them to be forgotten in all of this. They were a big part of this program and in how it was built up. And obviously building up Harry to the coach that he was, and now we're standing inside this Harry Gallatin Practice Training Facility.
And we keep saying that, and we say the Harry Gallatin Golf Training Facility, and you say Coach Galton, and people might be tuning in, and they, Harry Gallatin, you mean the basketball player, Harry Gallatin? That's the same guy. You and I obviously were blessed to know him. You probably a lot more than I, but he was the golf coach here for many years.
And that was another thing that we hung up right behind us there is every team that Coach Gallatin coached. And I thought that was important as well, so they can go back and look at their pictures from 1972, 1982. We do have the Hall of Fame team from 1983 hanging up on this wall as well. And, he had a lot of success. And I think people think of him as time with the Knicks and being from the local area, his high school, resume, and just moving back here. He was just such a jovial guy that a lot of people knew him well around here. And it was great to get to know him when I first got here. He was always welcoming, and he always told me that Derek, you're not going to get better if the team doesn't practice. Practice. So I think this was obviously important to him, and golf was important to him. He liked to play it, and he loved to coach it. I hear the stories all the time from the alumni, and they have some really fun stories of him.
And he wanted to follow those tournaments in the paper, because that's the call that I always got was, why aren't the scores being put in the paper? And I tell him, Harry, I send them. I can't control whether or not they put them in there.
I can picture him saying that, yeah.
Coach, thanks. I hope that you have enjoyed this look at the Harry Gallatin Golf Training Facility and enjoyed our look at the SIUE men's golf program. Thanks to Derek Brown. Thanks to our golf team members and all of the help today. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you join us next time on our next edition of the Cougar Connection.